So this is my brother's car, Opel, or Opel, as the Germans would say. In the last video, we covered all the rear brakes. So everything in there is brand new. But could you imagine all cars have more to be done? So in this video, we've got a rad to fix. So just to refresh your memory, to take off this bumper, there is only two T20s on either side of the bumper. Very easy to get off. Wash! Okay, so now the front grille is taken off. There's a little sensor in here. And that fella is for the exterior temperature sensor. So it is quite literally just a hook on, hook off job. The first thing we have to do before I go taking that radiator off is I need to drain the coolant. Because if I don't drain the coolant, big mess. So this frame just had a handful of 13 bolts in it, and I had to take a 10 off the washer bottle to get at the other one. So, because I drained the rad and I want to make life easy, what I'm going to do next is take off this frame just in the front, just from here to here, just so I can lift out the radiator. Just make life easy. Might make it difficult for no reason. Now that makes it way easier for me to get in there, because I can actually get my hand in there now and take out that E-bolt inside there. So all that's happening here is taking off the E-bolt, one at either side of the frame, and then underneath there's two bolts at either side for a little rubber bushing that just holds onto the radiator. So a little bit of a neat hack that a lot of people don't actually know is that E12 bolts, like the ones that are in there, the ones I took off from the other side with a similar top to this, can actually be taken off with a 10 spanner once it's not too tight that it rounds the top of the bolt. But you can actually just get a 10 spanner, put her in there and just twist, and it works perfectly every time. Radiator is basically loose. Inside here there is like rubber bushings, for want of a better word, and they are currently holding the radiator on, right? So that I can just slip this over that way and this out this way, so that way I should be able to get a hold of the radiator. But even though I have this loose, I'm gonna probably have to take off this part of the hose that goes into the air intake in order for me to be able to move this, so I can get more room in order to move out the radiator. Hopefully this doesn't take long, because I don't trust the weather right now. It looks like it's going to pour. So the radiator we have is from Nissan's. Nice and shiny. So here we're taking off a load of clips, plastic clips and screws, just to separate the condenser from the radiator and to try and loosen it so I can get it out from the car. It's starting to get dark now. I reckon I should have given myself a little bit more time. So I actually thought it was the radiator that was after braking, but it's actually the AC condenser that's after braking. That's the one that's actually gone to mush. I fully thought from a distance, I didn't exactly look at it properly. When I was on the inside, I saw it hanging. So I was actually wrong. But anyway, we're updating the car anyway. He needs a new radiator. He's going to update the car. So everything here was trying to shift the hoses out of the way by releasing the clips, using some vice grips, because the plastic tool I had didn't exactly go to plan. So getting all the hoses out of the way and undoing the fan clip, then it's just a matter of trying to scooch the radiator out. Right then, so after this chaotic looking mess with the AC condenser all hanging out and everything is wide open, I finally have the radiator out. So this fan is going to get swapped over onto this radiator along with those hoses obviously, but as we can see, this radiator, which is the old one, matches up with the new one. So those pipes are going to get brought over there, and same with the whole fan unit is literally just going to be dropped onto that. So at least when the fan is on, I can start to put it all back in there again. Quick one of these. Now, fan is on the new rad, and now all that has to go back in there, and that's going to be fun. It has gotten very dark for cameras, but for what you might be able to see, I have the radiator almost back in. Now I do know, as I said, it's going to be very difficult for you to see when it's all done. So I'll show you tomorrow when everything is back in. So, home from work, and I very quickly got Trevor's car back into the yard, took the front bumper off and the grill so I could go through everything that I got done. Now bear in mind, I finished this at like 10 o'clock in the evening, 10 o'clock at night. So it was dark. I was here with a light trying to get half these bolts in. So I took it back apart so I can recap you on what I did. Those bolts, those E11 I believe that were there, that you could use with a 10 spanner, I had to slide those onto the rad, which is, this is the new radiator. Slide those back on just by our bung and attach them on there. Right, so when I was putting back in the new radiator, the AC condenser had to go on in front of it. So this was currently hanging down, and then the radiator had to slide in from underneath here, in behind the AC condenser, and then it goes on to these little grooves that are just inside there. This bolt here had to come off, and it was in here. So this rubber bung is where you had to slide it into. So it's like a press, so it's like a V kind of a thing that's held into the actual frame. It kind of held its own a little bit. Once I had those rubber bungs on the bottom here also put in, and those in, the majority of it was held up. So all I had to do then was reattach the AC condenser with these little mini E-bolts. There's one there, one on the bottom, and the same on the other side. So basically once the plug was in for the fan and that pipe was back in, a lot of the weight of the radiator was taken, so there wasn't a whole pile left to do. So then the AC condenser was put back on, as you can see, and then I could put back on this bar and back on the intake, which is this guy. And once those were on, I could finally reattach that bolt for the windscreen wash bottle, just to hold. I'll actually show you what it was. So this was the coolant that came out of the car. You can see how cloudy, and imagine how terrible that was for the engine. There is no way that coolant has ever been flushed and drained and swapped. So the brand new coolant looks mint for it. Then with the radiator back together, that coolant reservoir, yes, it does look like a tip, but took off the radiator cap, or took off the cap for it, filled it with coolant, and then did this. So by me running this mint 1.4 litre petrol engine and squeezing the hoses like this, the coolant, it allows the air to leave the coolant. So in order to bleed the system properly, this is what I have to do. Get into the car. See this button right here. You give it a twist to the right and you go all the way to the right. So you heat the car up to the absolute limit. So you turn all the heating up, turn the fans up to the last. It's the car now that it needs to heat up faster in order to let the hot air into the car. So in doing so, bleed the cold air. So by doing that, it allows all the air to leave the system, and it allows hot air into the cabin, because you've bled it of all any air that's in the system. It allows hot air to move, and the result, perfect cooling system. Now that you got the update, I'm going to put it all back together with one little upgrade. Look at this. Nice, clean, black glass grille. a black badgeless grill, gloss black finish, really nice. I'm only waiting to see what it's like in the dark. But this next upgrade is going to be unreal. It's time for the taillights. All it is to drop down the flap and then to undo the two white nuts that are on the back, and the taillight pops out like a dream. With a bit of help, obviously. Out with the old and in with the new. Trust me when you see these are absolutely unreal. Swapping these taillights out is quite literally plug and play. You just take out the two nuts, put in the new one, and then sort out the little rubber bung that's on the end of it. After that, plug it in from the back, wind up the two nuts, and it's job done. Just starting off, just how it looks before the lights are even on, they look unreal. When you look at what was on it before and how faded the lights were, look at that. It's so menacing. It looks so cool. But of course, let's see them on. Everything LED is so much better. They are so cool. From what they were, this is a massive upgrade. I told you there's going to be big things coming for this car. Let me know what you think about these taillights in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and we'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.